Morning guys, Dave Canterbury with Pathfinder School. We've been talking about in this 21st Century Long Hunter series, we've been talking about the versatility of different items that the frontiersmen carried of the 18th and 19th century. And we talked about cornmeal in several cooking videos already, from flatbread or ash cakes to hush puppies that we did yesterday. And what I want to do this morning is I want to start a fire in the fire pit here in front of this lean, and I'm going to show you how to make a breakfast type cereal with this corn flour. That's very good and tasty, and I think you'll enjoy it. And it's just another versatility of that corn flour, and that's why they carried so many things like that were so versatile, was because they could use them for a lot of different things. You know, if I carry something like trail mix, it's not good for much other than just eating that trail mix, the same thing all the time over and over again. With, you know, a bag of corn flour, half a pound or a pound of corn flour, I can make a lot of stuff. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to make myself some breakfast, and stay with me. Okay guys, so what we got to do now is get some stuff arranged in camp here real quick. We got some room to work. Get our bags hung up here above our head. A couple good spots in the tree for that. Now, generally, like I said, I'll carry cornmeal with me and a couple other items like hot sauce and some seasoning, things like that. Generally in my pack, I don't carry a whole lot of stuff. I mean, the main compartment of this pack really is nothing more than, it's got my seagull pot on the top that I carry all the time. It's got my wool blanket rolled inside here. And then beside that, there is a mesh bag with winter type clothing, spare socks, you know, wool underwear, things like that, just for cold weather, you know, cold nights. But generally that's what takes up the inner contents of my pack, is not a whole lot. Most of my stuff is on the outside. It doesn't take a whole lot to, you know, spend a comfortable night in the woods, a good night's sleep. You know, if you got a good blanket and you got a good tarp and you can build fire, you can get by real good. Food's a bonus at that point. So I've got a couple bags in here. This one has pretty much a brick of brown sugar or muscovado sugar, which is basically the waste product or byproduct of the sugar cane process to make white sugar. I think it tastes better than white sugar myself. And then I have, you know, a partial bag of corn flour here. And again, this is the same self-rising corn flour. It doesn't matter. We're going to use it just like we would have used the other corn flour. And I need my spoon, which is in this pocket as well. That should pretty well set me up for breakfast. And then I've got another pocket on the side of this pack, generally that has most of my cordage in it, and that's just about it. It's got a couple rolls of bank line in it, and I usually throw my multi-tool in there just for quick access, and that's generally it. And then I've got a thing on the front of this bushcraft pack that my axe actually slides down into, makes that real convenient. But it doesn't take a whole lot, guys. So what we're going to do now is we've got our water heating up over here on the boil, and we're going to basically have to cook this cornmeal, okay? We want it to be cooked. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we got a good rolling boil in that fire, and I'm only going to take a few tablespoons of this and put in here to begin with, because I'm going to mix water in with it to make like a cereal is my plan, all right? And it works out really good that way. It's a good, nutritious, hot breakfast. If you had some hot chocolate mixed with you, which I carry a lot of times too, you know, throw some chocolate in there and you pretty much got multi-meal. So now all we have to do is wait for our water to heat up, and it's on the boil. And one thing that I'll generally do while I'm heating my water up, especially on cold days, if I'm trying to cook something that's hot and I know it's going to take a little cook time, and that's why I'm boiling the water, because I want it to cook this flour into a cereal. I'll get this cup and I'll go ahead and put it down here too, kind of next to the fire to warm it up, so it's not already holding cold temperature when I pour hot water into it and cooling that water down immediately. I want that water to stay hot, so I'm going to heat that container up as well. When I put the water in there, it'll be ready to rock and roll. But I'm not going to use all the water in my container. I don't want to actually cook this cereal over the fire. I just want to cook it with the hot water and make it expand into like a mush, is what I'm looking for. That's the reason I'm doing it this way, instead of just pouring water in the cup and cooking it over the fire. I'm boiling a semi-full container of water, so I've got that for the day, and then I'm going to add to this cereal. Okay, our water looks like it's pretty good to go now. It's almost on the boil. Container's nice and hot that our flour's in here, or corn flour. Now look, what I want to do here is, you know, I like to make things as simple as possible, and I like to make things easy. So I'm going to move this fire out of my way so you guys can see this, because we got some smoky wet wood going on here. This is Eastern Woodlands, unfortunately. And all I have here is a piece of bank line with a T in it that I would use for trapping or anything else. And this is, you know, it amazes me how difficult we try to make things on ourselves. How we try to put clips and things on things, and we try to put bails on them. You don't need any of that stuff. You just drop this toggle down inside there to the shoulders and pick that right up out of there, okay? And now, you see that and you're gonna say, well, how am I supposed to pour that? Well, you could grab it with your bandana if you wanted to, but I'm gonna show you an easier way to do it than that. Okay, I've taken a fork stick right here and I've just jammed it in between my fire reflector and a log that's by my fire. And I've still got this connected with this T-handle. And I'm just going to drop it into this fork, okay? Pull my cup over here, pour out what I want, and set it down. It's that simple, guys. It's not difficult. It doesn't need to be difficult. You don't need a bunch of tools. The tea comes right out. Set it aside. Stir up my cereal here. See what we got going on. If you pour a little bit too much water in there, it's not that big a deal. You can always add a little bit more cornmeal to it, but you want to let it cook, so it's going to thicken up on you a little bit. You can see what I got going on in here. Right now it doesn't have a real thick consistency to it. It's looking like I need to add a little bit of cornmeal to it maybe, but I want to give it a minute to find out. Because it's thickening up nice now. Pretty nice. That's a pretty nice little, it's a little bit runny, but that's okay too. I mean, it doesn't have to be real thick. It's just going to make it easier to clean your cup out in the end anyway. It just needs to be some good food, get you warmed up on a cool winter day. So now what I'm going to do is, you know, I said I carry this brown sugar with me all the time. So that's going to be my little additive to make it more like a sweet breakfast treat. So I'll just take a chunk of this brown sugar off the cake. I'll drop it in there. A little extra one for good measure here. Dropped a couple on the ground. 5-second rule. No problem. Okay. Set my sugar aside. And I'll mix that brown sugar into this real good. And you can see now it's starting to turn like a golden color from that sugar being in it. Let it sit there for a few minutes and cool down. Take my bottle and move it out of my way for right now. Okay guys, our breakfast is nice and cool now. At least I think it's cool enough to eat it. I want to scrape anything off the bottom that might be in there. Make sure you get it all mixed up good. Oh man, that's dandy. Dandy fine. Good sweet tasting. You know, I've always believed in keeping it simple, guys, and that's what the Pathfinder system is really based on, is simplicity. It doesn't take a whole lot to be comfortable in the wilderness. You just have to have things that are multi-purpose. And, you know, this corn flour, or cornmeal, is very, very multi-purpose. We've showed 3 different ways to eat this, 3 different meals, and they're all delicious. And they'll all keep you going, and they'll all sustain you on a cold winter day or a cold winter evening. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, part of the Long Hunter series on using corn flour to cook with. Again, I'm Dave Canterbury with the Pathfinder School. I appreciate your views, I appreciate your support, and I'll be back with a video very soon. I'm going to eat the rest of my cornmeal. Man, that's good.